Well, I finally completed it. I had to do it different. In the other video, I had and I knew this, but I had, or I knew the proper way and I was doing it the wrong way, was I had the filter on the wrong side of the primer bulb. So when I was wanting to mount it here, it was putting my primer bulb on the wrong side, because originally I had it like this. I was going to cut it somewhere here, but that's in the wrong spot. You want your primer bulb in between the filter and the motor, because when you squeeze your primer bulb, it stirs everything up in the fuel line, and you're pumping it into your filter. At the same time, you're stirring all the water and anything else that you're trying to get out. You're I don't know what they call it, but anyway, you're putting it in you're mixing it up real well. So it's better for you to be siphoning from the, I guess it's pulling a vacuum, as they say. You're pulling a vacuum through this hose when you're pumping, and it's not stirring up the bowl at the bottom, because if you do it the other way, you'd be pushing in and then it would swirl in there. You would actually see it swirl up the bottom, and then any settled water you had, you'd just be mixing it back up in. So that made sense to me. So in the end, what I ended up having to do was, I had cut my hose already, and I thought to myself, now I've done it, now I'm gonna have to buy another hose or buy some extra hose. And so what I had done originally, I had cut the hose here to mount the filter over on this side, and then I realized, now I'm done it, I've screwed up. So after a while of looking at it, I realized that I had enough slack over here, because I was cutting that much off, so I just ended up cutting it off, taking the hose clamp. See, these are permanent clamps, and so I had to get the one off here, and I put a hose clamp there, brought it back over, there's a barb, clamped it, and then this is my original line that was running into my connection on the tank, and I didn't have any extra line to run from here to the tank. So after connecting this, I realized I had a ton of slack over here, like too much slack, and I was able to cut a 9-inch piece to go from here to there off of that end. And I just cut a piece off, stole it, reconnected that over there, which had already had a hose clamp on it, and in the end I was able to complete it. And I was pretty happy, because when I start something, I like to complete it. It drives me nuts when it's not completed. I let it run for about 20 minutes, so that should have pumped out any fuel that was, you know, in the carburetor and through the system. So hopefully this is all new fuel going through the filter. I'm not sure quite yet, but take a listen. I think I need to adjust my idle. Let me shut it off. Yeah, I'll shut it off. I'm gonna shut it off. I'm gonna adjust my idle a little bit up, and maybe turn my hose pressure up a little bit. There's an idle adjustment screw, and to the right turns the idle up a little bit. And you really don't have to turn it too much to change it, because if you go too much, it will start to sputter and cough a bunch, and you'll know when you've turned it too far. I don't need smoke, but on humid days, I've noticed that it has a tendency to smoke. Definitely, once that water pump starts pumping the water up, it definitely runs smoother, because if it's not having that water pump up through the water pump and out your telltale, Now, if you're new to outboard motors and you don't see any of that water coming out, I'm going to try to zoom in on the water. You see that water coming out right there? I'll get closer, you won't be able to hear me. That water coming out the bottom of the motor right there, it's called a pea stream or a telltale. And if that water is not coming out, turn your motor off. Either you got plugged lines, you got something wrong, your water pump, your impeller's no good, needs to be replaced. You definitely do not run your motor any longer. Stop it at that point. I'm going to put it in gear. Put it up a little bit. That's in neutral. What I'm wondering, you can hear it in the video, the slight clicking. Not the motor, but up in the head up here, you can hear it. I'm wondering if that's my shifter rod is too high and it needs to be lowered down. I'm letting it run because I really want to try to get any fuel that I had in there out. You hear it sounds really clean now. I'm going to periodically turn it on. I got to shut the water off though, but I'm going to periodically turn it on. I use my measuring cup. I don't let fuel sit for too long, ever, really. Typically, we've been going out every weekend, so I've been using up every bit of gas I get about it, and it's definitely worth it, especially in this is an 81. It's worth using rec fuel only. Only outboard motor I've ever owned. Maybe it's normal for it to sputter a little bit like that. I know they burn the oil. Obviously, the oil's mixed in with the gas, so it's getting burned off as well. So there's going to be smoke. If you know what the clicking is, if it's normal, let me know. Thanks for watching.